Hey, I'm Pat. Welcome to Daily Devo. Today we're going to talk about forsaken. This week and this coming weekend, we will remember the suffering of our Jesus and celebrate his victory over death. On Sunday, we will revel in the fact that Jesus proved he had power over sin and death. And because of that, you and I can know that when we take our last breath here, we will enter an eternity with him. That should make you smile. And that's what we'll celebrate on Sunday. But back up a few days, and we see Jesus' beaten, battered body nailed to a rough wooden beam. And we can't ignore it. We must force ourselves to pause and remember that as he hangs there, taking the punishment of your sin and my sin, he will agonizingly cry out 7 different times. Significant words as he dies. One of those phrases that escaped his bloody lips, my God, why have you forsaken me?" So I want you to imagine the scene. I want you to maybe close your eyes and imagine his arms stretched out. And I want you to imagine those nails piercing his wrist and a nail piercing his feet and the blood dripping off of his body that's hardly recognizable because of the beating that he took. And I want you to imagine him looking up into the heavens and screaming those words out. My God, why have you forsaken me?" Those words are haunting to me. Partly because these pain-filled words cause me to recognize the enormity of the suffering Jesus faced. Well, I say recognize, and then I realize I probably never will be able to fully comprehend the horror Jesus faced, the physical, emotional, and spiritual horror. Decades after Jesus hung on that tree, the writer of Hebrews encourages us by quoting an Old Testament verse. Let me read it to you. It's in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. And the writer says, "For God has said, I will never fail you. I will never abandon you." One translation reads, "I will never leave you or forsake you." Now, remember what Jesus cried out from that cross. My God, why have you forsaken me?" And yet decades later, this writer is saying, God has made a promise to you and I that I will never forsake you. I will never leave you. Do you get the significance of this? That because Jesus took your sin and my sin on himself, he had to feel the abandonment. He had to feel being forsaken, something that you and I will never even know what that feels like. You and I will never, ever understand what Jesus endured on the cross. See, you and I will never be forsaken because he was forsaken for us. Oh, today, would you just pause a few times and thank God for that incredible truth that you will never be forsaken because he was forsaken for you.